hunting in September and like, you go to Maryland and stuff. That's not something I've done a lot of whitetail hunting in September. Honestly, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I've really ever whitetail hunted in September that I can remember. What is different about hunting at that time of year, versus even into October?
Yeah, so you got to get past the mosquitoes. That's one thing, and the heat. I mean, there's been days where I've been standing at a tree stand and just dripping sweat. It's 82 degrees out, but we've been off of deer season since the end of January down there, and we're just itching to go out there. And like I said, I'm a weekend warrior, so I don't care what the weather is. I don't care if it's pouring down raining or if it's 82 degrees or 10 below zero. Like, I'm going to be out there hunting when I can get out. And September is no different than that. So we're hunting. We're still hunting the food sources close to bedding. It doesn't really change a whole lot. Down there, we hunt some more ag field, like agricultural land. So you're kind of bouncing around, seeing where the deer are moving to, what fields they're going to, whether it's corn or beans, and just trying to get where the deer are at that time of the year. The bucks have either started or are about to start their transition to their fall range. They're still in their summer range down there. I don't think I've ever actually killed a buck in September down there. Been close a couple times, but you're still trying to hunt them in their summer pattern. Whereas in Pennsylvania, when it's October, you're basically full into their fall range or very close to their full fall range. So honestly, in Maryland, summer scouting is kind of more important to me than it would be in Pennsylvania because I need to know where the deer are going to be in early season, the middle of the year, and late season. Whereas here in Pennsylvania, in my hunting, the hunting span that I am, Pennsylvania is mid season and late season for me per se.
Yep.
So I'm hunting their fall range and their winter range only, whereas Maryland, it's all three. So there's some more scouting that's involved in running trail cameras, but the hunting aspect doesn't change a whole lot. It's more or less just trying to find food sources and their bedding, and trying to get on them.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like the and I, wouldn't putting two and two together with the summer scouting being so much more important. I mean, that makes total sense because of them being in that. And I see it even when because I run cameras in PA, from the summer all the way through the fall, and it's like there's a lot of times in September I'm like, man, I wish I could hunt because like they're on some sort of a pattern where then it seems like if you can find that pattern, whether that's like in northern PA and other parts of PA too. But when you have cherry trees, the black cherries, they tend to be scooped up sometimes before the season even starts, or just really get through the first week. But when they're dropping in September, it's like, oh man, like you could get on some deer based on having that. And it's almost like having, agricultural fields to be able to work off of. And like with those food sources in September for you, are you looking at like more like mass crops, or like as far as like acorns and fruit trees or anything, or is it more agricultural?
So the one spot in particular that I talk about, there's a bedding area, a draw, and then a more or less a flat with oaks on it. And then on the other side of a road, there is ag fields. So in this instance, I am hunting the deer coming out of the bedding, going to the mass crops as a staging area for them to go out to the agricultures late in the day or even at night. So I'm hunting that mass crop with the understanding that they're going to the ag fields. So hunting that transition and just trying to find the trails and hunting those trees that are producing that year. Not every year those trees are going to produce, but my summer scouting tells me, all right, the acorns are going to fall here. This is where I need to be at the top of this draw where the deer are going to funnel in, and then they're going to come out of the ag fields. And then vice versa. That'd be for a morning sit. Or sorry, that'd be for an evening sit. And then in the morning, it's vice versa. I'm hunting where they are more or less coming in from those ag fields, maybe stopping at that staging area, but more or less doing a straight line to bedding. So understanding how their morning activity and their evening activity function so I can hunt accordingly. Most midday, I'm not hunting all day sits in September. It's just way
Yeah.
too hot to do that. So I will go back to the truck, regroup. If I want to hunt the same area, I'll shift a little bit and just hunt the trails where they're going to come out of the bedding instead of going into it in the morning.
Yeah, that's a good scenario. That's a good scenario where you have like there's a destination at some point, and it is kind of nice. I know of even places. There's other states that have that where you almost have like a lot of the deer bedding on public that they'll be up high and then they kind of have some mass that's in between and then eventually they get down low and it's like at least you have like a direction of travel versus not as far as they can, be feeding anywhere or just browsing, so to speak. So that is nice to be able to work off of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the deer numbers are pretty good down there. And with them being in the agriculture, and especially if it's corn, they have the cover in there that they will honestly stay in that corn longer into the morning. So I find myself sitting a little bit longer early season, maybe to that 10 or 11 o'clock range, because those deer may not come through till 8, 9, 9:30, because they have the cover in the corn. Where if it's beans, they would have to be bedded to be secluded, and they may not stay in there into the morning, and they may come back a little bit earlier. So I do I like beans a little bit more because it forces the deer out. Whereas with
Mhm.
corn, they could stay in there all day long and they could just bed in the corn, stand up and eat, and bed and stand up and eat, and just do that all day long, and they'd never have to leave. Um, and that's private, so they could do that if they're feeling pressure, especially if a big buck's in the area. He can just go out there and live in the cornfield until it's cut. And by the time it's cut, I'm probably in Pennsylvania
Yeah.
and not hunting them anymore. So
Yeah.
there's so many different tactics that I use throughout Maryland and PA, just depending on the season. So there's a lot of different things that I have to learn and understand as I go throughout the season each year.